God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Public comment? Thank you. And now we go to my report. This, last couple of weeks, TCOL, and we all know what TCOL is the agency that supports and guides law enforcement. I happen to have a beautiful daughter that's a commissioner for a TCOL commission. And she wanted to do something for Cameron County. So she brought the executive director and the top brass of TCOL. She invited all of the law enforcement within our district. And TSC hosted the event. I think it was a wonderful event. I think we need to keep that group because I expected 13 people and 33 showed up. So it was very successful. And I think we need to keep that group because within that roundtable discussion, a lot was talked about school marshals and school security and jailers and training for jailers. And I think if we keep that group together, Mr. President and the board, we can use them all as advisors and also as recruiters to bring the students in. It was very, very well worthwhile. As an extra thing, the president thought of taking them to ITEC, where there was a competition going on with what was the competition? With high schools, law enforcement high schools. So it was amazing to see so many students. Needless to say that TCO was totally impressed. We didn't plan it, but it worked out really, really well. So I was happy that it went well and that we've got the ear of TCO because they are what controls, especially our police academy. So I was very happy. I'm very happy and proud of my daughter, of course. And I'm happy that she chose TSC rather than McAllen to do this thing, right? I think it had something to do with us. So anyway, I wanted to report on that. I'm very proud. I came to spring convocation, and as always, if there's another thing that I like as much as I like commencement is convocation. And it's a new start, and everybody's exciting. And I always see one or two people that I haven't seen all semester or in 2 semesters, and they're excited about working for TSC. And just a few years, if you know the history of TSC and the separation and everything, to see them excited, to see people stop me down the street and saying, or at HEB, which I hate to go to HEB, they stop me and say, we want to be part of TSC. Is there any openings? I remember when nobody wanted to talk about TSC, but that wasn't too long ago. Yeah. So you've done a tremendous job, Mr. President, because you are a good ambassador for our college. And yes. So convocation was great. Lots of information. I don't know how you all sit through that and sit through things because there's a lot of information that day. I think the trustees that were here, that were able to be here, it was good. It was good that you were here because it was your first one. Mr. Camarillo, thank you for being here. And of course, Ms. Saenz, thank you for being here and welcoming the new semester. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Do my report? Okay, good. Before I start, I just want to say thank you. Appreciate the comment, Madam Chair, but I cannot do it without the support of the Board of Trustees that are taking those courageous decisions and helping us move forward with the wonderful colleagues that I've surrounded myself with, that the heart's in the right place and continue working around the clock to serve our communities. And yes, by having Texas Commission on Law Enforcement here made a major statement with our community. It was a big turnout, and trying to embrace the safety, the training, everything. That was a powerful statement. I thank the Commissioner Burrows and the new executive director for coming down. I thought that was great. And yes, on January 11th, the Texas Public Safety Association regional competition took place at the ITEC. And now this competition drew in about 232 students, high school students, from Donna ISD all the way down to Brownsville ISD. They competed in various law enforcement events, and 35 local law enforcement professionals served as judges. So a lot of folks came in, and that shows the unity, that shows the fabric and the importance of our college that the Board of Trustees have built throughout the years, which says a lot of the community. We always say this is a community college, and we're here to serve our community. And yes, the executive director and commissioner were impressive. I mean, we couldn't have planned it better. So that was wonderful. So again, thank you. Thank you, and good evening once again. To everyone, Happy New Year. And since our last board meeting in November, we had several graduations and pinning ceremonies since our November meeting. It's been a while. It's been a while, wow. I'll try to make it short, only about 2 hours. No, take it on that. I would like to begin my report by highlighting our fall commencement ceremony. Our graduating class was more than 200 members strong. This included our first Hidalgo County dual enrollment graduates from La Villa Early College High School. In addition, we were pleased to host our commencement speaker, Dr. Gonzalo Salazar, who is a Texas Southmost College alum and superintendent for Los Fresnos Consolidated Independent School District. It was a memorable day for our graduates and their families, and I would like to thank Chair Garza, Secretary Lopez Harris, Trustee Aldrete, Trustee Camarillo, and Trustee Garcia for taking part in the celebration. Again, each graduation season, we honor our ADN and LVN students at their pinning ceremonies, and I'm pleased to share that our graduates continue to be in demand in our community, with 100% of their nursing students having job offers upon graduation. So thank you to Chair Garza and Trustee Camarillo for coming out to celebrate with the students and their families.
Delia was at the.
And Ms. Delia, sorry about that, Ms. Delia. We also celebrated our WTCE graduates in December. Our PCT and CNA graduation was held on December 5th. These healthcare professionals are also in demand, being hired in our community by employers such as Valley Regional Medical Center. It is also worth mentioning that our CNA graduates earned their GED and CNA certificate at the same time. So thank you to Trustee Camarillo for participating in the event. And we also had 18 cadets graduating from our Criminal Justice Institute on December 7th. I'm pleased to share that 16 of them, or 88.9%, have already passed their T-Cold exam. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. And the other 2 are studying up to take the exam. So thank you to Chair Garza, Secretary Lopez Harris, Trustee Aldrete, and Trustee Camarillo for coming out to support the CJI graduates. And I think we're moving in the right direction. We also celebrate the graduation of the new class of pipe fitting students. These graduates are also in demand by being hired by top employers such as Bechtel Construction Services. Now, since we last met, the Scorpion community also participated in a number of holiday celebrations. We kicked off the season with our annual tree lighting ceremony, which was held on December 3rd. We had a terrific crowd again this year, with approximately 300-plus Scorpions and community members participating. A big thank you to our community partners for their participation, including the Perez Elementary Cheerleaders, St. Mary's Cheerleaders, and the AX Benavides Elementary Choir. I would also like to thank our little Scorpions from the Raul G. Guerra Early Childhood Center, as always take the show, and great participation from them, and the Mariachi Scorpion for adding to the festivities. Thank you to Chair Garza, Vice Chair Sainz, Secretary Lopez Harris, Trustee Aldrete, and Trustee Camarillo for participating in the event. Next, we celebrated the holiday season with our faculty and staff at the TSC Holiday Luncheon on December 5th. That's really the start of the tamalada season for many of us, and start gaining weight, but that's okay. We have fun. So thank you, Chair Garza, Vice Chair Sainz, Secretary Lopez Harris, and Trustee Camarillo for participating and showing your support for our Scorpion family. Our Board of Trustees then participated in the Brownsville Christmas Parade on December 7th. This is the annual event that we all look forward to, as we have a chance to interact with our community during the most cheerful of seasons. So thank you, Chair Garza, Secretary Lopez Harris, Trustee Camarillo, Trustee Aldrete, Trustee Garcia for participating. And finally, our campus community supported Perez Elementary through a toy drive, delivering more than 350 toys to children on December 19. So thank you to the Scorpion community for making the holidays even brighter for these families. And as you hear my report, you see how engaged our Board of Trustees are with their constituents. And we got to give it up to you guys because they're all volunteers. We all get paid. They don't. So thank you so much for your participation. It truly means a lot when you come in and show the support and you see the decisions that are taken here in action. So thank you for that to all my trustees. As Chair Garza mentioned in her report, we welcome our new faculty and staff to the new semester at spring convocation on January 13th. I provided a briefing on the upcoming legislative session, and each VP shared highlights from their division. We also look forward to gathering with all of our full-time employees as we plan for the semester ahead. I extend my thanks to Chair Garza, Vice Chair Sines, Secretary Lopez Harris, and Trustee Camarillo for participating in the event. After I met with our employees, I had the opportunity to meet with the leadership Brownsville on January 16th. This is always a great session. We get to share all of the good things happening at TSC with the community leaders, who then become ambassadors of our work. We're very pleased to host the group on our campus, and as I always like to share, the sun always shines on TSC. In closing, we begin the new year with a renewed commitment to serving our communities with the strong support of our Board of Trustees and with the steadfast dedication of our faculty and staff. This concludes my report, and thank you.
You don't have a video?
No video today.
No?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
No, this concludes. We had some technical issues that we could. Yeah.
I wasn't done yet.
I wish I could-
I should have paid attention then because I was going to see it in the video.
I wish I could sing and dance, but no.
Thank you, sir, for your report. President's report, okay. I guess we'll go to number 6 without a video. Consideration and possible action on approval of the minutes of the following meetings. November 21, I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 21, 2024 as presented.
I so move. Second.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Ms. Sines. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Go to Academic Committee. Ms. Aldrete?
Thank you. The Academic Committee met on Monday, January 13th, 2025. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Zabaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 7A, consideration and possible action to approve a clinical affiliation agreement with South Texas Rehabilitation Hospital. I call on Mr. Mesquias.
Thank
Dr. Mesquias.
you. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, for consideration of possible action to approve the clinical affiliation agreement with South Texas Rehabilitation Hospital. Health professions programs required a signed clinical affiliation agreement in order to place students on clinical sites to meet accredited program-specific competencies. This affiliation agreement includes the following: certified nursing assistant, patient care technician, phlebotomy technician, licensed vocational nursing, associate degree nursing. The proposed clinical affiliation agreement has been reviewed by the TSC College and Board Legal Counsel. The recommendation is to approve the clinical affiliation agreement with South Texas Rehabilitation Hospital and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement as presented.
I move to approve the clinical affiliation agreement with South Texas Rehabilitation Hospital and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement as presented.
I have a motion, Ms. Aldrete, second by Ms. Sines. Any discussion? Any questions?
I have a question. Is this the first time that we are affiliating with South Texas Rehab?
No, ma'am, we've had one since 2016.
Okay, it's
Since-
reviewed yearly?
No, ma'am, what we did is we were including our programs from WTCE. The allied health programs already had an affiliation, so when we did it, the hospital said, why don't you go ahead and update all of them, since the one we have is pretty old.
Okay.
We're just including our programs.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Ms. Aldrete, was that your own?
Yes, oh, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know we were waiting for that. We go to Student Services. Dr. Harris?
The Student Services Committee met on Wednesday, January 15, 2025. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC Administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item: consideration and possible action to approve a contract agreement with the RGV Food Bank Emergency Food Assistance Program. At this time, I'll call on Dr. David Plummer and Ms. Vanessa Vasquez.
Thank you, Madam
To
Chair,
present the item.
board members, Dr. Rodriguez. Thank you. It's an agreement to really support our students and to work with the food bank to support our food pantry. I'm going to let Ms. Vanessa Vasquez, with your permission, present on the topic.
Madam Chair, members of the board, and President Dr. Rodriguez, in your binders, you will see the food bank of the RGV agreement for the Emergency Food Assistance Program. Upon acceptance, this agreement will serve officially to update our point of contacts for Texas Southmost College, which will be myself and Mr. Juan Rodriguez, Coordinator of Sponsored Programs, Grants, and Contracts. As the new primary point of contacts, we'll receive access to the RGV Food Bank system to purchase grocery items at a reduced cost. So as we're getting donations, instead of paying for full price items, we get it at a reduced cost from the food bank. But before updating this agreement, TSC underwent a yearly audit performed by the food bank of the RGV this past November, and I'm happy to share that out of 101 possible points, our TSC food pantry received 100 points. So we surpassed the audit, and now we are moving forward with the agreement. So this agreement requires compliance with the guidelines from the food bank of the RGV, Texas Department of Agriculture, and the United States Department of Agriculture. The proposed contract agreement has been reviewed by and approved by TSC Legal Counsel and Board of Trustee Legal Counsel. The recommendation is to approve the contract agreement with the RGV Food Bank Emergency Food Assistance Program and authorize President Dr. Rodriguez to sign the agreement. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. I move to approve contract agreement with the RGV Food Bank Emergency Food Assistance Program and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
A motion by Dr. Harris,
Second.
second by Mr. Garcia. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Ms. Vanessa, how many students regularly participate in the food pantry?
So far, we have 500 fall and spring semester, so 250 per semester. We have the food pantry located at the Leitner Center. There is a back entrance because we understand students are a little shy to come and receive food assistance, but we are there. And we also transport our food assistance to ITEC. So if they request at ITEC, we go and deliver at ITEC as well certain days.
That's great, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Ms. Hines?
How are the students made aware of this program?
That's a great question. So we do reach out to all the program and instructions, the program coordinators, directors. Mr. Juan Rodriguez presents at all the orientation classes as well about this. Our digital signages around the campus, all the events that we have on our campus, we always have Mr. Juan Rodriguez talking about the food pantry and where they can fill out the information to receive these items.
Very good.
So,
Thank
yes.
you.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, ma'am. Policy Committee?
Me. The Policy Committee met on Monday, January 13th, 2025. Present were Chair Garza, Vice Chair Sines, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Admin and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 9A, consideration and possible action on the approval of the following local policies: CAK, CDE, DHB, FAA. And I call on Mr. Frank Perez.
Do I have your permission?
Mr. Peña?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Ms. Alderete, Madam
Yes.
Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. Our first local policy that you have in front of you, CAK, this is just an addition to your investment policy requiring us to make sure that the people who are investing on our behalf are registered and basically are legitimate kinds of brokers and not somebody fly-by-night that we don't want to, we want to make sure. So now we're required to make sure that they provide us with their registration and their license. That's CAK. Annually, you are required to review your policy, and we did that last year in February, and I'm assuming that we will be doing that again this coming month or shortly, in a short period of time. That change, if you want to see, is on page 5 of 7 of the policy, and it is highlighted in blue in the provisions that TASB has sent to us. The next policy is CDE, is the Accounting Financial Ethics. This one requires us to report any violations of federal law for fraud, conflicts of interest, bribery, gratuity violations, things of that nature. Obviously, things of that nature become problematic if we should ever find any kind of fraud going on. We're required to report that, not only in violation of federal law, but obviously any state laws that may be involved as well. So that just updates that particular provision. And the changes on that are on page 3 of 4 of the highlighted policies that you have in front of you. DHB is the Employee Standards of Conduct, Child Abuse and Neglect Reporting. This is a statute that's been on the books for a number of years. Employees are required to report any suspicion of child abuse to Texas Department of Family Protective Services. Those individuals are protected by law, but failure to report such a thing could be an issue that you could be prosecuted for not reporting such possible neglect or abuse of a child. So that change is on page 2 of 3 of the highlighted provisions as well. And FAA is the Equal Educational Opportunity for Pregnant and Parenting Students. This provision basically just kind of updates what our liaison is supposed to do, Salud, and designating that individual to make sure that information is readily available to students who are pregnant or are parenting, and where that information is published, which would be in our website as well. And so that change is only on one page, and that's page 1 of 1 on your highlighted provision. The last policy that we actually are bringing before you is GD Local.
Oh, no, we propose a motion for those first.
I'm sorry.
Let's,
We propose a
separate
motion for those
motion.
first.
wait,
I move to approve the TASB recommended revisions to the
Ms.
following.
Alderete, give me one second, please. Yes?
Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, I just wanted to clarify one thing. For CAK Local, this serves as the annual review, given that TASB is adding that language to clarify the investment broker qualification for investment pools. That's the only change that we'll be doing this year, so this meeting already serves as that annual review. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Alderete.
Okay. I move to approve the TASB recommended revisions to the following local policies: CAK, CDE, DHB, and FAA.
A motion by Ms. Alderete,
Second.
second by Mr. Camarillo. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Apologies.
9B, consideration and action to approve the revision to GD Local, Community Expression and Use of College Facilities.
With your permission.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is a policy that we have had in place. There's actually only one change that we're making to this particular policy. and it deals with our Charro Days festivities. We've required a 90-day heads-up notice prior to the event being taking place so that the board and administration can review the request. We are making the recommendation, administration is making the recommendation that the 90 days be changed to 30 days. That gives us sufficient time, we feel, the administration feels, that it gives us sufficient time to vet any issues that come up for an event that we need to prepare for. And many times, many of these organizations don't have locked in those dates as 90 days ahead of it. So it's kind of a way of us assisting the various organizations during these events.
I move to approve revision to GD local as written.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete,
Second.
second by Mr. Camarillo. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. That's it for you.
That concludes my report.
We haven't had a meeting. We forgot
know.
how to. I had trouble at the beginning. I haven't done this in a long time, since last year, as a matter of fact. Facilities Committee,
Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, January 14, 2025. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item, 10A, consideration and possible action to approve sponsorship for the use of facilities in accordance with GD local, community expression, and use of college facilities. Dr. Garcia?
Thank you, Trustee Camarillo. Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez. This first item, the Policy Committee just approved a revision to GD Local, which allows the 30-day notice. The Mr. Amigo presented a request for sponsorship for use of the Performing Arts Center lobby. What we didn't include in your packet was some of the costs. So the Performing Arts Center lobby, the rate is $1,000 to rent the lobby. Then with the additions of custodial and security, the total would be $1,875. Mr. Amigo is asking for the waiving the fee of the venue, which is $1,000. So we would be waiving $1,000 on this one. And we would be getting back, we asked, okay, so what would we get as a sponsor? And so they are going to give us, obviously, the name on the program, and then the name on the following programs, which is the Mr. Amigo functions of the Walk of Fame, the President's Gala, and the Hands Across the Bridge. So our logo would be associated with those events. A table for 8 at the President's Gala, a logo on the poster, and then, of course, TSC mentioned on all the announcements for all of the Mr. Amigo events. So in lieu of the venue rate, then we would get these items back. And so presenting this for your consideration.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. I move to approve the Mr. Amigo sponsorship as requested.
a motion by Mr. Camarillo,
Second.
second by Mr. Garcia. Discussion? I think says a lot when we participate with the community, when our name is out there with happy times and good fun.
And we had issues where they have their Mr. Amigo last minute, and we can't host because of the 90 days.
Because of the 90 days, exactly. And so as a
long as we're
result,
made
we
aware.
get left out.
Yes.
Yeah, so even though the president has discretion, right, to do it last minute, but 30 days is
Yes, we're good.
30 days is good. But just to set an example, the 27th, next Monday, is the unveiling or the announcement of the Mr. Amigo. So they couldn't lock that in 90 days because they don't have that time. So a lot of times is that they're not as organized, but sometimes it's just, they just can't. So I'm glad that we changed this to participate because it includes us in the participation and our students too.
Absolutely.
I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item, 10B, facilities update. Dr. Garcia?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Trustee Camarillo, Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez. We've got our facilities team coming up, Mr. Ronnie Robles, Mr. Gerardo Mascoro, and I believe Mr. George Hinojosa. So this is an update. This is a little bit longer than what we've been presenting. We have more projects to present. So if with your permission, I will turn it over to Mr. Robles to give you the update. Let me get on this.
Madam Chair, Board, President Rodriguez, thank you for this opportunity to present this update. We'll start with our dedicated chiller plants and what the status of it is. All chillers have been installed and are in final testing. Control systems have been installed by the vendor, but we're still pending some items there. Chillers are manually being tested and operated for the following: leaks, proper temperature settings, electrical components, a PSI, and flow of the chill water to and from the loop. Project completion date is the end of the month, January 31st. It was approved by the board on August 17th, 2023, at a cost of $2,575,000. Here you'll see a picture of the chillers being set at the rec center. These are the two chillers at the child care being set, removed from the truck and set in place. Next would be the thermal plant cooling tower installation. This is work in progress. The electrical demo is complete. Electrical wiring is in progress. It is at 25% completion. The isolation valves on the supply and the return are complete, which will allow for no interruption in service when we're ready for that particular component. All 5 cooling towers are on site. All variable frequency drives are on site and ready to install. Construction fencing is completed as showing on drawings, and project completion is on time and expected to be completed by December of 2025. Additional milestones is equipment was approved by Board of Trustees on August the 17th, 2023, at a cost of $959,685. Engineering services approved by Board of Trustees in June 20th, 24. Ethos Engineering is the company that's accomplishing that, and it's at an 8.25% of construction cost is what the bill will be for the services. Installation contract approved by Board of Trustees on August 29th, 2024, at a cost of $1.13 million.
In other words, we were all here when we approved this.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's not forget.
The thermal plant, you can see the fans on top. Some don't have fans. That's how bad they are. But that's what's going to be replaced and much more energy efficient and provide better cooling for the campus. Here you'll see when they arrived on the trucks and when they got taken off of sorry, I jumped ahead. Okay. We'll now go to the chillers that were purchased. There's 2 chillers that are going to be installed. They're being removed from the trucks. Okay. All right. Again, these are the 2 chillers when they arrive, when they're being unloaded and placed on setting blocks. Here they're set, ready to go once we're ready for the installation. The equipment was approved by the Board of Trustees on August the 17th, 2023, at a cost of $1,090,234. Pending activity or services and funding, engineering services, and RFP for the installation of the chillers. Next is the pipe fitting lab. Pipe fitting lab.
Go back, one. You guys talk about millions like we talk about hundreds now. You realize that? Everything is millions when it comes to
HVAC.
Just wait what's pending.
Ay, Dios mío.
That has been approved since 2 years ago.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what, when I say efficiency, that's what I'm referring to is the higher efficiency the equipment is, the newer it is, we will see an offset on the electrical. Don't know how much because those studies have been completed, but there will be a reduction.
But I haven't seen anything that's maybe less than $1 million. The last figure I saw was 800 and something thousand. So can you imagine if Mr. Herrera was here?
But, well, he approved this,
It was in 2023?
2023.
Yeah, he did.
You did. Like, all this project started with Mr. Herrera present.
Let's finish it. Let's finish it.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, it's pipe fitting lab at ITech. Pipe fitting lab engineering plans for electrical were completed on December the 17th, 2024. The following steps will be followed to complete the project. Scope of work development, which is in process, and then once that completed, a release of an RFP for the electrical components of that area. Several milestones, pipe fitting lab, there at the lab is, all the non-electrical work has been completed, and it was done by January the 7th, 2025. All but some minor painting needed to be completed pending, the problem was the lumber needed to cure, so once it cured, they painted it. Inspection has been completed once the painting was finished. The slide was done prior, or we completed it once the slide was already submitted. Board approved the budget amendment on October the 17th, 2024 for this project, and a $150,000 plus grant applied for the engineering services. Here you can see a couple of pictures. The one on the left is a couple of windows that were installed so they could see through from one to the other, and then a door as well for the area. Here on the left, you see that they had to cut out that brick wall in order to install that garage door on the right. Here's another cutout between rooms or spaces. That will be just a gate, correct?
I think it's another.
Okay. I don't recall if it's a rolling door or with a gate. Okay. So that you'll see is what occurred. All right, the National Fitness Campaign, the Fitness Court is next. The Board of Trustees approved matching grant on May 16, 2024 of $217,500, which supports the development of the Lands to Park program. The equipment arrived in July 2024, ground survey completed in October 24, we poured the concrete in December of 2024, installation of the equipment is pending. Ribbon cutting will be March, April of 2025. And here you'll see the area of where it's at. And on the right, you can see it's in section number 5, over behind the armory, and on the right, in the distance, you can see the armory. There was a fence there that we had removed, a privacy fence that we had removed. So you can now see all the way to the back where the concrete pad exists. This is a diagram of what it, once it's complete, once it will look like. In the lower right side, you'll see that where there's a split basically in the middle. One side is one area of working out, and the other side is for another area type of workout. Here you'll see where they're preparing the foundation on the left, and on the right, that's the poured slab the day of, where they're still finishing it. This is the logo that will be put on the wall that you'll see, so that it's visible to the drive that's the drive where the armory is at. And here again, this is the finished product. It's one angle on the left, and then it's the opposite angle on the right. Next is the Gorgas boardroom and conference room, which is this space here. Boardroom upgrade of HVAC system is all new components. I mean, it was gutted out, removed, and all new system put in. In addition to that, we also put in a humidity control system to dry out the ambient air. The bathroom was remodeled, added cabinetry, drop ceiling and conference room, upgraded new light fixtures throughout areas, And board approved budget amendment on October 17, 2024 for $50,000. So walls have been painted, new lights. It's been a complete remodel. So it's been a process. All right, next is a thermal plant hydronic system, which is the return and supply lines that are run underground. In the white, you can see like a white L. That's right now the lines that, where they exist. So it's just so that you could see what area of the campus that we're looking at, where some repairs have been completed. Just some background information. Leak number 1 has been repaired, but this was back in October 2023. So I wanted to give you all a history of what has occurred so that we come to where we're at now. Second leak was on December 23rd between M0 and M2. It was a hot water line. Leak number 3 was repaired as well on May 22nd, 2024 in the small paseo. It was a hot water line. So now we're looking at both the hot water and the cold water. Leak number 4 is repaired. It was on May 2024. Set B annex, and it was a hot water line. Leak number 5, October of 24. Set B in lecture hall was a chill water line. Leak number 6, it's in a, well, no, it's been repaired now, right? Yes. It's been repaired. It surfaced. Mr. Mascoro has the vendors on call, basically, and just calls them, and they come to get things taken care of for us. Number 7, December the 11th, 2024, between Cortez and M2 is a chill water line. That resulted in the thermal plant having to be shut down for a period of time. Here's some pictures of some of the last leak that we had. You'll see on the left, there's a
Mascoro on the phone.
Yeah. You'll see it in where we haven't done anything other than identify the leak. On the right is where we had to cut out some concrete, and eventually that manhole, they had to break out as well. And I think you'll see a picture here. Yes. Where it's been cut out and it shows the lines. The leak was actually below the white pipes, and they were actually, got to it pretty quick and was able to be repaired fairly quickly. This is between lecture hall and set B. You'll see on the left where there's a tint in the water to identify where that leak is coming from, so that we'll know, hey, this isn't just rainwater, it's coming from the dye that we put through the system. On the right, you'll see that on the very left, you'll see a pipe that's cut in front of those white pipes. That's where, between that and the right side where the red hose is where the leak was. So they had to cut that pipe out and replace it. And here you'll see where they're actually putting the pipes together to weld back together so that that leak would be fixed. Went too far. And you'll see that what I wanted to show here is on the right where it comes through, goes up, and then comes back down. On the left, you see how deep they are. They're underneath that deck, and they have to, get down in there and clean all that up and be able to weld all that back together. So it's a pretty lengthy process of what these gentlemen are doing to get our systems back up and running. All right, next is the hydronic line replacement project. That project, what is being proposed, it takes these lines that are old and having problems, it removes that or eliminates that process, okay? So it would add new lines. Board of Trustees approved contract with Half and Associates to conduct an engineering service study. It was contracted on November 22nd, 2024. The agreement includes engineering and surveying for $370,000. A completed engineering and survey expected by February 28th, 2025. Next step is pending funding, and upon receipt of full engineering and survey report, is to develop and release an RFP for installation of new hydronic system, the return and the supply lines, which is hot and cold water. Proposal would be presented to the Board of Trustees for approval. So this is the replacement of that problematic lines that we have now. And that's the end of my presentation.
You have been busy.
And I do want to thank Mr. Robles, Mascoro, George, and all the team that they worked around the clock during Christmas, during the break, to get our operations back and running. So thank you for that, guys.
Thank you.
It was honestly
appreciate
Mr.
it.
Mascoro's group, with the hydronic line and all that, they really put in some hours getting all that taken care of, so.
You know, we see you all dressed up here, and we don't have an idea what you're doing. Well, I have an idea because I like to visit with Mr. Mascoro. I like the mud. So I came during the holidays, and they were up to their knees in mud, and I'm just amazed at how well you work together, the three of you. It's, I mean, and I know it all goes down to we love TSC, and you're.
Sorry, I'll just say that Mr. Nosa was very instrumental in this particular job here and getting it started the day after the last meeting in November, up till probably a couple hours before we started, so. It was, both these gentlemen really have gone all out to get everything completed.
Thank you. You know, at convocation, I talked about family, and it boils down to that, you know, when we need to pull up for each other, we do. And here is the result, and there is the result in the pipes, and there is the result in all that's going on. And I thank you for being part of the family.
This item is for information only. No action is required. This concludes my report.
Okay. Any comments on the projects that y'all see? The guys, you two are in the committee, so you had seen it, but the rest of us, of you, any comments, any? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Camarilla.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we go to Finance Committee, Ms. Delia Sines.
The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, January 15, 2025. Present were Chair Garza, Secretary Lopez Harris, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following. 11A, consideration and possible action on contract approval for information technology emergency and incident response professional services. I call on Mr. Luis Villarreal to present.
Thank you, Ms. Sines, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. Before you, I first want to say I'm happy to be here. Okay.
We're happy you're here, too.
Thank you.
We
Happy
were
to be
even
anywhere,
happier
really.
in December.
Yeah, I'm getting happier by the day. Before you, you have a professional services incident response contract to consider. I would like to point out that at subcommittee, Madam Chair asked Dr. Figueroa to remind the board, some of the board members are new, that previous board members and constituencies here had approved the government code and purchasing process that we're using for this particular item, which I guess is Government Code 271.102 and falls under Local Government Code Chapter 271. I'm not going to read all of this. If you have any questions regarding this particular definition for this cooperative, which is TIPS, the Texas Department of Information Resources, Dr. Figueroa is here to answer any questions before I go on. If not, I'll continue. Currently, the college is seeking approval for these professional and engineering services from a company called SQL Data Systems Incorporated for emergency and incident response for information technology security purposes due to recent events that did happen over the winter break. I was able to engage SQL Data Systems to assist us for incident response. I think most of you are familiar with the event. They have provided us a quote for the services that were rendered, and we're asking for those services to be paid for by the board due to the emergency circumstances, plus to allow us to continue to work with them for another sum of hours that will end up totaling around 400 total hours at the rate of $233.75, so that we can kind of complete and wrap up this particular investigation. The rate that they have quoted is their normal rate. It is not an after-hours rate or weekend rate, so we're getting this at a substantial discount. Much of their work was done after hours and during the weekends, pretty much around the clock. Yes. The amount is $93,500. This expense will be coming from the approved budget for this fiscal year. And again, we're asking for your approval to approve these services.
I move to approve a contract for professional services with Sequel Data Systems Incorporated through TIPS, contract number 210101, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
I second.
Motion by Ms. Sines, second by Dr. Harris. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 11B, consideration and possible action on contract approval for remote managed services. Mr. Villarreal?
Thank you, Ms. Sines. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, and President Rodriguez. This is an associated item for the board's consideration due to recent events where we engaged SQL Data Systems to assist us with incident response. It is my opinion and our experience that they do tremendous work, incredible work to help us through the incident. I have requested from them to have ongoing services, to give us more sets of eyes, to manage our many servers. We have almost 100 servers that require management. So I asked them to provide us some system administration in an ongoing fashion. The way that they do that is to use one of their partner companies, which is a company called Shadow IT. Again, this falls under the same purchasing process and system that we just referenced in the last item, which is the TIPS contract through the state. Again, if you have any questions, Dr. Figueroa is here. It's the same process. This particular agreement would allow Shadow IT to assist us with regular, ongoing maintenance, monitoring, patching, upgrading, et cetera, of our many servers in the data center and in the cloud. This will be a huge assist to my burdened IT department. As you might remember, we are in the process of moving to SaaS, Elucian SaaS, which is to take our colleague system into the cloud. That is the focus. Given recent events, I think it's pretty important that we engage a third party to assist us with some of these other maintenance operations. I think this packet includes a litany of pages explaining all the services they're going to provide. I won't go through all of that. But again, it's remote monitoring, patching, upgrading, helping us configure systems, et cetera. They're not going to hold us to a year contract if we do not require it. They're bidding it for 12 months because I asked them to. If we decide after 60 days that we no longer need their services, we can let them know within 60 days' notice. But should we do the whole year, it's $97,360 total.
As long as you understand what you need and it's there for you.
There's much that we need.
Yes. Okay, I move to approve contract for remote managed services with SQL Data Systems Incorporated through TIPS contract number 210101 in the amount of $92,360 plus up to $5,000 for technical support if needed, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
I second.
Ms. Sines, second by Ms. Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris, any discussion?
Madam Chair, just one quick note. On any hardware replacement, They'll notify you all if any hardware is needed.
That's right. They're not responsible for replacing hardware, ordering parts, anything like that, but they can notify us if they see system failure and that kind of thing. It's a very good question. That's where the other, also, the $5,000 for technical support is for stuff
Covers
that's kind
that,
of
it's a
outside
buffer.
the scope. Yeah,
Okay, thank you, sir.
good question. Thank you.
All those, go ahead.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Villarreal, for working so diligently through this massive breach that we had. Thank you. I'm glad that you hired him for this position because he carried us through, and it's something that we appreciate.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it.
We trust you. And we
Thank-
trusted you more in December.
Thank you. I feel the love. I wish I could show you pictures like the facilities guys do, but my stuff is not that obvious. Yeah, and we saw them, by the way. They were here too when we were doing our thing.
But you know, your position is one of those that we hope we never need, but we were glad you were there.
Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, for hiring me. I can't thank you enough.
No, but all kidding aside, you know, the IT and all the contacts that Luis brings to the table, not only his knowledge, but the network of contacts, relationships, and experience he brought to the table, realized, put it to the test during the Christmas, winter break, and again, fully operational back on January 6th. So thank you. They really work around the clock and during the winter break. So thank you to Luis' leadership and the entire team and the
Yes.
vendors that stepped in to help out because it's about relationships as well.
Yeah,
So.
if I may, Dr. Rodriguez, at the end of the day, I'm just sort of the band conductor. It's my staff that stayed here, all of them, including Mr. Hernandez's side of the house, to assist us to touch everything that we needed to touch. I can't thank my staff enough, Ms. Ochoa, the security officer, Randy Wallace, our applications director, Luis Nieto, my brand-new user services and very young coordinator that learned a lot in the last month or so, and Adan Gallegos, who's our network engineer. They all pulled together to provide services above and beyond their job description for sure. So I thank them very, very much, my whole team.
Will you share our thanks with them also, please?
Absolutely,
We
absolutely. I
acknowledge their work.
believe Dr. Rodriguez owes them some tacos.
As I do, sir.
They were not present for the big meeting. Thank you all very much for the kind words, appreciate it.
Yes.
Need to vote.
11C, first
No,
quarter.
B, vote. Wait, I need a vote. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, next, 11C, first quarter investment report for fiscal year 2025, Dr. Figueroa and Carlos Pecero.
Thank you, Ms. Hines, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you have the first quarter investment report for fiscal year '25. This report covered our investment from September 1st through November 30th, 2024. This report is in the format that we're required to present it to you, our governing body, because of the state law, but also for the constituents to know what's going on. This table at the very top of the report is what summarizes the report, the different funds that the college has, and how much interest has been earned for this quarter ended on November 30, 2024. For comparative purposes, we've added the column of the prior, which is the fourth quarter for fiscal year '24, with its value, so you can see the difference between that quarter and the first quarter of fiscal year '25, which the market value of the college's funds is $112,881,000. And then below that, you have the amount of interest that generated during the quarter, which is $962,510. And these are the funds with that. The following pages in the report show you the details of each of these numbers, which is in which banking institution and type of account that they are in, along with the book value, market value, the average yield, and how much interest was earned, which is the last column that you have. Again, this is the detail on the summary is in the box at the top. It has all of the different accounts that the college has, and at the end, it's validated by our comptroller and myself. Then we also have, this is not part of the required report, but it's something that we present to you every quarter, which is the list of the current certificate of deposits that the college owns, the banking institution in which they are, their maturity date, and the principal that it's currently at those banks, as well as a listing of all the mature certificates of deposit since the board approved this initiative to start doing some of these investments. And that started back in 2019. The list keeps growing, and the interest generated since then is $5,306,431 with 32 cents. Are there any questions for me for this report?
No questions. Next item, 11D, grants report for November and December 2024. I call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Science. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have a list of the grants that were awarded to the college during the months of November and December. We have a grant from the city of Brownsville, the hotel occupancy tax for $20,833. We have a grant through the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, a Perkins Leadership Grant of $198,000. We also have another grant from the co-board, which is the Texas Reskilling and Upskilling Grant, a true grant for $279,370, and a small skills for small business program from TWC for $129,150. So the total during these 2 months of grants that were awarded to the college were $627,000. In your packet, you also have a listing of anything that happened from September all the way to December. And the amount that it's rolling from September to now, which is fiscal year '24, is $3.1 million.
Thank you, Dr. Fig. This item is for information only. No action is required.
Thank you, ma'am.
This concludes my report.
Thank you, ma'am. Board will now convene in executive session as provided by Government Code, Chapter 551.071, 551.072, 551.074. We're out in executive session.
Executive session, I don't think we have any motions from executive session?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Wait, give me 1 second, please. Next meetings, we must know those. Regular board meeting, February the 20th. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
And March the 27th, because we have spring break on the 17th to the 21st. Everybody okay with that? 27.
27.
Okay, Ms. Science, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Ms. Science, second by Mr. Camarillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Vámonos.
Stand adjourned.